You ever get that feeling that you're just following a script? One you didn't even write? This invisible story that's kind of pulling the strings on your choices, your reactions, your entire sense of who you are? Well, today, we're going to unlock that script. We are diving deep into the super powerful idea of your personal mythology.
The legendary psychologist Carl Jung asked this, and man, what a question to kick things off. Because here's the thing, whether you realize it or not, you are living a myth. There's this deep, personal story that's running the show from behind the scenes. So let's figure out what yours is, shall we?
All right, first up, we're talking about the invisible script. We're going to break down what a personal myth even is, and why, believe it or not, knowing about it is more important right now than it's ever been.
This really hits on something a lot of us feel today. For centuries, we had these big shared maps for life, right? Things like religion or cultural traditions. But as those have kind of faded into the background, we've each been left to basically draw our own map. And that search for meaning, that's exactly where your personal myth kicks in.
So what are we actually talking about here? The best way to think about it is like this. Your personal mythology is the operating system running your mind. Seriously, it's not just one belief. It's this whole constellation of stories, images, and rules that are humming away in the background 24/7. It's the thing that takes all the chaos of life and tries to make sense of it. It tells you who you are and, maybe most importantly, directs you on what to do next.
And listen, this isn't just some wacky, out-there idea. It's actually a huge deal in psychology. As the psychotherapist Rollo May put it, the whole point of therapy is often about digging into these personal myths and symbols and helping someone reshape them. At its core, that's what a lot of therapy is, helping you understand the story you've been telling yourself and maybe, just maybe, helping you write a better one. The concept itself has a pretty cool backstory. It kind of started bubbling up in therapy circles back in the 50s with a guy named Ernst Chris. Then it started getting more steam in the 60s. But then, bam, the legendary Joseph Campbell gets a hold of it in the 70s, and it just explodes into the personal growth world. Suddenly, we all had this powerful new way of looking at our own lives.
Okay, so if your personal myth is your operating system, what's it made of? What's the code? Well, that's what we're digging into next, the building blocks of your belief system.
See, every great story is built from the same basic parts, and your personal story is no different. It's put together from these really deep metaphors, ideas like life is a battle, or maybe life is a journey. And it's also built from these powerful, universal patterns called archetypes.
Archetypes. Man, this was one of Carl Jung's most mind-blowing ideas. He basically said that we're all born with a set of psychic blueprints. These are universal characters and themes that we all kind of know instinctively. The hero, the rebel, the caregiver. He said they live in what he called the collective unconscious, which is like a shared psychic inheritance for all of humanity. It's why the same kinds of stories and characters pop up in myths all over the world, in every culture. Let's just look at a few big ones. You've got the hero, right? That part of you that rises up when you have to overcome a huge challenge. Then there's the shadow. That's all the stuff about yourself you don't really want to look at, the parts you push down. And of course, the persona. That's your social mask, the face you show the world. Just starting to see which of these guys are playing a role in your life, that's a massive first step to figuring out your own myth.
And all this talk of heroes leads us right into our next section, the hero's journey. We're going to look at probably the most famous story pattern of all time, and see how it can literally be a map for turning your own life into an epic adventure.
So this guy, Joseph Campbell, he studied myths from literally everywhere and found this one single pattern that showed up again and again. He called it the monomyth, but we know it as the hero's journey. It's that classic story. Someone leaves their normal, everyday world, faces a bunch of crazy trials, and comes back totally transformed. Sound familiar? It should. It's the blueprint for everything from Star Wars and Harry Potter to, your own personal struggles.
And this isn't just for movies. In the real world, this framework is an incredibly powerful tool in therapy. It helps people reframe what they're going through. Suddenly, that messy divorce isn't just a failure, it's the call to adventure. That battle with illness, that's the road of trials. It's a way to stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as the hero of your own incredible story.
Okay, so now we get what a personal myth is, but what if yours sucks? What if the story you're living is holding you back? Well, here's the best part. You can change it. You can actually rewrite it. This next section is all about the how. It's your practical guide to grabbing the pen and becoming the author of your own story.
And this is so important. You are not stuck.
You don't have to just be a character in some old, outdated story that's making you miserable. There's a way out. In fact, two researchers, Feinstein and Krippner, laid out a super clear 5-step path for consciously changing your personal mythology.
Let's walk through the steps. It's pretty straightforward. Step 1. Recognize the old myth that's not working anymore. Step 2. Feel the conflict, the tension with the new story that's trying to be born. 3. You create a unifying vision that brings the old and new together. 4. You commit. You move from just thinking about it to taking real-world action. And finally, 5. Integration. You weave this new story into your daily life with new habits and rituals until it becomes your new reality.
So, just to recap it simply, each stage has a job to do. You move from just seeing the problem to finding the conflict to creating a solution and then actually living it. It's a complete roadmap that takes you from being lived by your myth to consciously living it. Huge difference. All right, we spent a lot of time in the inner world of myths. Now let's zoom out. In the 21st century, where on earth are we even getting these powerful stories? I think the answer is going to surprise you.
I mean, just think about it for a second. We see more stories and images in a single day than our great-grandparents might have seen in a year, or even a lifetime. So, with all this content flying at us, who are the new myth makers? Who is actually shaping what we believe and who we become? And this right here shows just how dramatic that shift has been. Go back a ways, and our myths came from the community, from church, from folklore. Then, in the 20th century, Hollywood took over. Movies and TV became the new campfires where we all heard the same stories. But today, especially for Gen Z, the source is totally different. It's decentralized, it's hyper-personal, and it's always changing. We're talking about social media.
Yeah, the new myth makers, the new heroes and high priests, they're digital influencers. And they're not just selling you a product, they're selling you a myth, a story about how to be happy, how to be successful, how to be you. The way people follow and look up to them, it's basically a modern version of hero worship, and it's shaping our personal stories faster than anything that has ever come before.
So let's bring this all home. Why does any of this actually matter? Well, because in a world that doesn't hand you a map anymore, understanding your own internal compass, your personal myth, it's not just some fun psychological exercise. It's become an absolutely essential skill for navigating your life and, frankly, for staying sane.
And if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. What you believe about yourself, it's just a story. It's not some fixed, unchangeable fact. It's a narrative. And the most empowering thing in the world is realizing that stories can be rewritten. If the one you're living isn't working for you, you have the power to write a new one.
So I'll leave you with this thought. Your life is a story, an epic one that's still being written. You're the main character, for sure, but you're also the author. So the only question left is, what are you going to write next?